wait to play. 1, 2, 3, go! Whoops! Sorry guys, I didn't see you there. How's it going, everybody? So today we are going to learn about the drum set. Yes, it looks like it's one big piece, but it's actually made up of smaller pieces. So today we're going to take this apart and we're going to see how many pieces there are. So stick around. Welcome back. All right, so we have the entire drum set right in front of us. Now I have a question for you kids. What type of drum set is this? Is it a 2-piece? Is it a 3-piece? Or is it a 4-piece? Well, to answer your question, first of all, every piece is a drum, not a cymbal. If you do not remember the difference between drums and cymbals, so this is the cymbal right here, these metal things, these are the cymbals. However, if it has a head and it has a shell, these are our drums. So let's count our drums together. I see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is a 4-piece drum set. Good job, you guys. But I wonder how many cymbals I have. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now, those cymbals, they're not part of the peace deal. Now, I know we all want to be at peace. Get it? But no, the cymbals, you can have as many cymbals as you want. That doesn't affect the piece size. If I threw one more drum on there, it'd become a 5-piece drum set. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to pull the drum set away so you can see all the individual parts. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and we split up all the parts so you can see them a little bit better. Now, tell me kids, are the drums and cymbals, are they floating in the air, or is something holding on to them? You got it. They are being held up by stands. These are things called hardware. You may have heard of hardware and software for your computer at home, but in this case, hardware are all of the components that you don't play. They just make sure the instrument sits in the air. So I'm going to start by going over to our first instrument, the snare drum. All right, so drumsticks. Now you can break this down a little as far as if you want, but as you can see, they're one complete piece. Can't really play drum set without sticks, so this is probably one of our more important components even without the instrument. I'll put these over here. So, take a look at the drum. Now, does the snare drum itself also have a lot of hardware on it, or is it just a piece of wood? Well, if you ask me, it looks like there's more than just wood on this instrument, but I'm not going to be able to break this down any further without taking off what? That's right, the snare stand. And how do I do that? So I have a twisty right here. I'm going to twist, twist, twist. That loosens that up. Drum comes right off. Look at that. We'll get to the drum in a second. Look at the music stand. Now you'll never believe this, but this can also break down into smaller components. Watch this. If I'm trying to pack this up, I just fold these up like this. Pretty amazing. Now, if this is still too big, which it really shouldn't be, I'm just gonna loosen right here. That comes out like that, and now I have 2 smaller parts. This is still wide, so I'm going to loosen that wing nut. And there you go. So one music stand is actually composed of 2 parts. But even if you look at the top part, you can see that there are smaller components involved. Are we gonna take this apart today? No. These are riveted. That means they've been hammered in, and there's no way those are coming out. So we'll put those over here. This is our drum. Now let's check out the components of this. We have our head right here, the striking part. This is called the rim. So this is providing tension on both sides of the drum. Without the tension from the rim, you're not gonna get a tight snare sound. It'll be more of a loosey-goosey sound. Without tension, there's no tightness. Without tightness, there's no real good sound. Now this is the actual snare of the snare drum. Check this out. if you were in my class, I talked about bear snares a long time ago. So the idea of this is it used to be called a trap drum as well. It's about trapping you and keeping you locked in. Snare drums have been used for hundreds of years, but as you can see, this is a much smaller version. Now, this component right here is what holds the snare against the head. So without this component here, this doesn't work either. So there's a lot to just this drum, but we're not done yet, so hang on a second. All right, we just finished up the snare drum. Now, we gotta charge through the rest of this stuff, because the good news is what applies to the snare drum is going to apply to the other parts of the drums too. It's weird with the camera angle, so when I am in front, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm blocking the shot or not, but just bear with me, okay? I'm just gonna go in order. So, hey, does this kind of look like a snare drum? A little bit? It's much longer, isn't it? It also doesn't have that snare, but it has something different. What does it have? Did you know these are called legs? Not very creative, huh? Right, so these are the legs. You have 1, 2, 3. If I'm packing this drum up, all I have to do is remove the legs. Easy. They just fall right off. I loosen them up, and they just slide right down. I don't want to lose these, or else my drum will be not able to stand up correctly. So, those come right off. Now, I actually forgot to mention this on the snare drum, so I'll mention it now. These things right here, if you can see, these are called lugs. Now, what these do is they're the reason there's tension on the rim at all. And these drill into this part right here, they screw in, and they go all the way around the drum. So you can tighten these or loosen them up to remove them. It'll take a while to take them off, but you basically can take all of these off and take the entire rim off, and basically all you have is a shell with no skin. So that's pretty neat in my opinion. So, moving forward, this is called a throne. This doesn't break apart very much, except that the head comes off and the legs fold up. So that's pretty basic. You take that apart. Now the hi-hat's a little bit more complicated. There are a lot more components here. So if I'm packing this up, taking it on the road, first things first is I need to remove the top hat like this. Put it over here. Remove the bottom hat like this. Now here's the advanced way. I'm gonna loosen my wing nut here, pull this off. Whoa. Then I'm gonna twist this until it comes out. Then I'm gonna fold up the legs so they go straight up. I'll loosen this wing nut here and fold the legs up just like this. There you go. Ready to go. Ta-da! All right, now cymbals, these cymbal stands are a little less complicated. I'm gonna twist the wing nut, remove that, remove the felt, this little squishy part, take the cymbal off the rubber, don't let the rubber go with it. You, stay here. You stay here. Put the felt back on. We don't want to lose this wing nut. Trust me. Trust me. You don't want to lose this. We're not actually done yet. So this is called a boom stand. You'll see why. Now it can go straight back, up, straight down, loosen, fold, done. Nope, legs, of course. Fold, line up, just like that. Now, wait a minute. I can, if I need to, just like one of our old snare drum stands, right? Do you think this cymbal stand is gonna be different or about the same? Yeah, that's right. It's gonna be the same. We're gonna remove the wing nut, just like this. Simple. Take the cymbal off. Make sure the rubber doesn't go with it. Put everything back. Tighten that. Put the cymbal over here. Now what do you think I do? Yep, fold up the legs. This time, instead of pulling it out like this cymbal stand's actually small enough. Well, I'm just gonna drop it straight down and fold this in. And we're ready to go. Put that over here. All right, this monster. This is our biggest thing to deal with the drum set. The good news is it's actually one of the easiest things to work with. First of all, wing nut, remove tom, easy, all done. Now, I take apart this tom and that drum, but we only have so much time. I'm gonna remove this arm like this. Yeah, arm, put that in a safe place. Now, the kick pedal leaves the drum set. Watch this. I loosen and pull it right off. Let's take a closer look. So there's a lot of components on this, right? When I step on now, if you've not studied levers yet, or levers, if I push down on the pedal, that it starts a chain reaction. It pulls the chain down, pulls the pedal forward, and hits the drum. Boom, boom, boom. Also known as a kick drum. You can call it a bass drum, but it is also known as a kick drum. It's good to go. Now, the only part about the kick drum that I have to do is fold the legs in. Now watch this. Again, there's a lot of wing nuts on drum set. Why do you think that is? Well, yeah, it's so you don't have to go grab tools to loosen this stuff. You have any idea how long this takes when you're on the job? This takes a while, just by hand. So it's better that everything's easy to loosen and remove. Now, before I cut the scene, let's just kind of get a panoramic view of all of the things we took apart. Wow. Amazing. That big drum set turns into all these little parts. So if you just give me a few minutes, I'm gonna make something kind of creative out of these drum parts. So if you stick around, you'll see something kind of neat. Ta-da! What do you think? That's right, kids. Your assignment was to make a skeleton using household items, and I went ahead and used my drum set parts. So let's review. So, starting from the top, we've got a really big head for some reason. Yes, bass drum is our head. Using a tom stand for our neck, then a low tom for our body, using the stands for arms. Notice I used the feet of both of the music stands as the hands, made sense to me. Then you've got your pelvis connecting to your leg bones. He's got a nice brass belt buckle on, imagine that. Then I use the actual legs to make actual legs. What a concept. And then I use the foot pedal and the drumsticks to make the feet. I mean, this is creativity at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a fantastic Take Apart Tuesday. Make sure you're very careful with what you choose to take apart. Some things you can't put back together. Speaking of which, how am I gonna put this drum set back together? Oh no. Well, anyway, have a nice day, kids.